What the fuck? What?
Hi.
No, not high. What the fuck is happening here?
I grew hair.
Putting
It's
this.
beautiful, isn't it? It's
No,
gorgeous. Yeah, it is.
no, you must be out your mind. What the fuck? I know it's been a long time since we did these videos,
It has
but
been a long time, yeah.
he used to be bald, and I went his route. I shaved my head, and he
Yeah.
grew some type of creature, a thing.
Creature, man, this is the Bieber. What are you talking about?
Where did you get that?
This? I
No, my
grew it.
my better question before we get to where did you get that? Why did you get that? I want to know why and where in that order.
It was given to me.
Who would do that to you?
It was my grandmother when we were helping her move. She had like one of these old wigs that her sister gave her. She's like, "Hey, you want this?" I said, "Sure, why not?" For situations like this. Why the fuck wouldn't I take it? Is the better question.
The one bad thing about doing it early is there are two games that are coming out that I am excited to play, and possibly they would end up on my top list.
Which
Uh, so
one's?
that's the Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake,
Yeah.
which
What is that exactly? Is it just like a standalone Final Fantasy game with Final Fantasy VII's combat?
yeah, so well, it's taking the so there's a game, there was Crisis Core that came out on the PSP, so it's taking that core combat, but it's like remixing it to make it more modernized. So that was a
Yeah,
lot of like using like slots to do attacks and stuff. It was a little weird.
that's
That's when Square Enix decided to put cards and slots in every single one of their games. But the story is really good. It's about Zack from Seven who died, and it's basically his backstory. So really fun game, but I really want to play a remake. The bigger game that I am either going to probably love or it's going to be a broken mess is the
Callisto Protocol.
well, that too, but Marvel Midnight Suns. That
Is that
is
coming out in December?
December 2nd, and
Oh wow, I thought it was coming out in like April or something. I got pushed back that far.
yeah, it was weird. I felt like that's what I thought I read, that I got pushed back to
That's what I thought I
2023,
read too.
but apparently that's just the PS4 and Xbox
Oh, that's
One.
wild. So Series X and PS5 is coming out before
Yeah.
PS4 and Xbox One? That's
Yeah,
weird.
because it's taking priority because now people are actually getting the systems. But I'm really excited for that game by the creators of XCOM. But you never really know with the
Yeah.
license game how rushed they are and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I honestly wasn't expecting it to be that. I thought it was going to be more of maybe like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance deal with maybe some changes to it. But when I heard it was more like an XCOM, I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
I
I'm
think it's
not
good to change it up just because we have so many Marvel games that are action based.
action based, yeah.
I was like, cool. I like this idea. I don't know though if it's going to work for this series.
And I think the whole big thing about XCOM 2 is like every battle is a risk because like
Yeah.
you can have crew members are going to die, and in this it's probably like they just get knocked out, which probably takes a little bit less of the anxiety of the combat away, which is what makes it so fun.
Yeah, I haven't
So
read
that's what I'm
too
wondering what they're
much
going to do.
like
I haven't really
about it.
seen anything on it.
I saw some gameplay clips. It looks cool, and you can do like tag team attacks and stuff like
Yeah,
that, which I like. But yeah, those are the two big games. And yeah, the other one that you mentioned, Protocol,
Callisto
right?
Protocol.
That
Yeah,
that
which is
that's
basically just Dead Space made
yeah,
by the guys who made the original Dead Space that left Visceral whenever they closed down. And you
yeah.
got Glenn Schofield, who's like a real fucking dirtbag, but
Who?
I mean, Glenn Schofield, I'm pretty sure that's his name. He's the one that leads the studio now that's developing it.
Uh-huh.
He came out recently and was like, people were just kind of talking to him on Twitter about it, and he basically came out saying, "Yeah, like we work these long hours and 70, 80 hours a week because you do it because you love it." And I'm just like, oh no, another
Uh,
one of these situations. Oh no.
Crunch time.
And he got a lot of fucking heat for that, and he had to backtrack that and apologize really quickly because you remember what happened with Rockstar and
Yeah.
whatnot. So I mean, as you know, I'm not big in horror games, anyways. I mean, I
Yeah.
love horror movies. Horror games are a
Not
little
your
more conditional for me because of just how more immersive they are. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'd like to see it.
Is Dead Space 2 remake coming out this year? Or is that next year?
That comes out in January, which is funny because this Callisto Protocol comes out in
Yeah,
December, and then the Dead Space remake comes out in January.
that's pretty great, actually. I'm
It
excited
is,
to
yeah,
try
interesting
to
timing.
try both because I like Dead Space. I
I
think
am
Dead Space.
too. Yeah, I really would like to. Like, I'm more interested in the Dead Space remake than the Callisto Protocol.
Apparently, Dead Space is not open world, thank God, but it's more of a hub world now that you can do other stuff.
I saw,
Which
yeah, that they've actually updated it and
yeah,
modernized the
I don't know
game.
how I feel about that, but we'll see. Anyway, there's enough games I think that we played this year that we can actually mm, pick our game.
I think so. It was a decent year. I don't think it was
Definitely.
anything incredible,
No.
but I mean, I just looking at like the Game of the Year nominees for the awards, I'm just like, I see two games on here that I think are worthy. Like the other three, I'm just like, huh?
Yeah, well, this is 2021, and I'm just looking real fast, and this year was probably one of the weaker years for me.
It
Um,
was well,
yeah,
mine. What was mine last year?
I think mine was. I don't know.
You chose Final Fantasy VII.
No, Final Fantasy 7 wasn't last year. It was
Oh, that's right. It
2020.
was 2020. That's right. Oh, that's right. I chose Hitman 3.
Yeah, it was not a great year. So, let's
It's
see
okay.
if
It's okay.
2022 ends up better. Now, I assume the top game. It would surprise me if it's not Elden Ring, uh, or God of War. Those are the two I would
It has to
expect.
be one of those two. If it's not, I'll be surprised.
I'm trying to think if anything else came out that was got like that critical acclaim. I
I
know Persona
honestly,
5 Royal, but I don't know if that'd be
yeah,
number
but
one.
besides it like coming to Xbox and Switch,
Yeah.
I didn't really hear much else about it. I still would like to go back and play Royal. Well, not go back and play it, but I'd like to play
Replay.
through Royal.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure
I put
Pokemon's
105
not number
hours
one.
into I put 115 hours into Persona 5.
Yeah. I'm not replaying that right now, but down the line I do
Yeah.
want to play it.
I think so,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's see what it is. Ready? Boop-a-da-boop. Portal.
That's right. I forgot that was the other thing.
Fucking Portal. Anyway, Elden
What is
Ring's the
that
same story.
exactly? Is it just 1 and 2 on Switch?
Includes Portal 1 and 2. Yeah. On Switch is
That's so
exactly what it
boring,
is.
man. Am I like one of the few people that think Portal's like just okay? I know you
Nope,
think that
I'm the
too,
same
but
thing. Yeah, I
like
think
it's
it's
a
one of the
great
most overrated series ever
it's a
created.
it's a good puzzle game. I think what's more interesting to me about Portal is the lore with like Gladys and everything. That was more interesting to me than the actual like puzzles. It's
Is it
cool, yeah, the
though?
Portal stuff. Yeah, it was like the little cake is a lie and all that shit. I like that. I thought that was cute, but as far as Portal as a puzzle game, I just always thought it was okay. It was
Yeah.
interesting, but I never thought it was anything spectacular.
Yeah. I don't really like Portal, but let's get to the games that matter. So, oh, there's Battle Royale, or
Oh
Persona
look, I
4.
already.
So
Well,
Elden Ring.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to spoil it.
Well, you got Elden Ring high up there. And Elden Ring is one of the better games of this year for me. We'll
I would
get
love
to
to talk
more
about Elden
later
Ring.
because
We can
yeah,
talk about it at the end, but we'll kind of
yeah.
go through. Let me pull up my notes in case there's anything else. I already know two of them are going to be on here, and that's Elden Ring and God of War. But
Oh, there we go. So yeah, the only games that we predicted. So yeah, Persona 5 Royal. Again, I just want to say that it is an excellent game. It also came to the PC this year. So I am very glad to see it going on all these systems. And then we
absolutely,
have God of War Ragnarok, which is another great game that I want to talk about.
I would love to
Um,
talk about it with you too.
so those are the ones I expected. So let's see what else we got. We got,
Oh, that's right. It came out on PC. 2018 God of War. That's funny. I
yeah, the
completely
original.
forgot they released it on PC in January.
Yeah, something else came out this year too. Spider-Man, right? I think maybe.
I think Spider Man came out on PC. Yeah.
Okay, so the Stanley Parable.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Cuphead.
Oh,
I
Amy
know
wants
you,
to
you
play
like
that.
Cuphead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Amy does. Yeah, like I've been playing it with her, and she's actually about to beat it. But yeah, we definitely would like to play the DLC. I think as well.
Oh well, there
You know,
we
it's
go.
funny.
92%.
You know, it's funny. She was playing it last night. She's like, I'm to the point where like I want to beat this game and probably never touch it again. But I'm like, but what about the DLC? And she's like, fuck, that's right, the DLC.
There's a lot of games like that
But
where I get
it's
thrown
funny
off
because I
by
just told her I was looking on the PlayStation Store last night, and they have that and the DLC on sale for $20. And I'm like, my love, I have three PlayStation 5 controllers now, so we can replay it on PlayStation 2. She's like, oh God,
Why the
no.
fuck do you have 5 controllers?
I said three, I didn't say five.
Why do you have 3? When did you get
Uh,
the second one?
The second one I got with my bundle because you had to have
Oh,
only got the
that's right.
bundle. It came with another controller, so I have a black one. So I've been
I mean,
using this beauty right here,
the
which
God of
I
War.
picked up. Yeah, I really
I had to,
love the Bear and Wolf.
I had to buy an extra Xbox one because mine broke.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
I do
Yeah,
like blue controllers. So, all right.
your daughter
Rogue.
is destructive.
No, that wasn't my daughter. The controller just stopped working. Uh,
What?
yeah, remember the thing got jammed, so I couldn't click B anymore. It was, and I
That's
called
right. Your B
Microsoft, and they're
button.
like,
Oh, I thought you
uh,
said it was from Sailor, like mashing it or something.
no, no. She breaks
Oh.
a lot of other stuff, but not that. Rogue Legacy. Never heard of this game either.
Never either. I have heard of Neon White, and I'm interested to try it, but it's very
Neon
much like
White.
a Ghost Runner type of game. It's like a puzzle first-person game. It's very
Oh,
fast-paced.
okay.
Like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
look
I've heard a lot of good things about this
the
game.
design. The design looked interesting. I would like to try it, but it's also one of those games I'm not really that into. But
Yeah, I'll try it.
um,
Is it on Gamer Pass? No, it's not even
I
on
don't think it's
Xbox.
on Game Pass. I think it's on Xbox, but PC got highest. But
Uh,
I know it's on Switch too. Deathloop is one I have not tried. That obviously got a lot of praise because it was from the developers of it's from Arcane.
I
Yeah, the guys who did
hate Deathloop.
Dishonored.
Boring.
Did you
Uh,
play it?
I did. Yes, I did not
That's
like it.
right.
Though
Well,
I
you
did
were not
find
a
the main
Dishonored.
character funny.
You didn't. You were not a Dishonored fan either.
I was not.
Understandable.
Dishonor was not that good either. Legend of Heroes. I've been wanting to try. I know this is more like a 2D remake-ish type thing from the other legacy games or whatever the Tales get. Anyway, I wanted to
Do
play
you
this, but I don't
do
know
you
if I
play
ever
any
get to.
PC games?
No,
I don't think I've asked you that recently. You really don't, right?
nah, not a PC gamer.
Yeah.
There we go. Norco. Never even heard of that shit.
You
Xenoblade
played? Did you play that?
Chronicles 3. Yeah, I played it when I was after my surgery, which is a good time to play an RPG. And it was good, but it had the fluff that I hate in RPGs where it's like walk to this end to this end to just deliver something.
Mm,
Didn't
yeah.
like that. And I felt like the combat just kind of got boring around the 40-hour mark. So I just kind of stopped playing around 50 hours. I think it's a good game. I think it
Oh,
looks
you didn't finish it?
excellent. Yeah, no way. It's like a 90-hour game. I just don't
Fuck.
have it in me anymore. Um,
I played
but
something for 80 hours this year.
yeah. Well, this game though, I feel like if the combat was better, I might have stuck with it. But then the
Yeah.
story started losing me with the whole like anti-war message, which is cool, except that we're still destroying stuff. So yeah, it just wasn't that great.
Here's Stanley Parable again. I don't know what that is. I haven't even heard of it.
Apparently it's great because it's on every fucking system and it's high rank. But
Mm.
Near,
Did you play
Near
that?
got a push to the Switch. That's kind of cool.
Did you like Automata? I don't think I asked you that. You
No, I
didn't.
didn't.
I wasn't really that into it either. Like
No.
I think the gameplay styles going back and forth was interesting, but like once I got like 2 hours in, I'm just like I don't really feel interested in this world with these characters, the
I
whole
love the
2B
first
thing. I'm
Near.
like, eh. I know
The
you
first
love
Nier
that
is
one.
great.
Yeah.
The story is excellent. This Nier, the story people think is great or say it's great, but it's like one of those games where you got to have like you have to read everything outside of the game to really get it.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
not
very
into
like
it.
it sounds like it's like lore based in a way that isn't that interesting because
Yeah,
it's a
and you got to
platinum.
beat it multiple times to get multiple endings, which I wouldn't have mind if the gameplay stuck with me. But after the second playthrough, I was like, I can't play this more, so I just looked up the endings. But anyway, didn't really like it that much.
I was a teenage exocolonist.
Yeah, you don't know that game?
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Atari 50th Anniversary Collection. That's right.
Oh, Last of
Yes,
Us Part
that's
One.
right. I forgot. I haven't finished it yet, but
I did.
I am adding it.
So it's Last of
You
Us
finished it? You didn't tell me.
Part One. Yeah, I beat it earlier this year. Last of Us is still a classic to me. Do I think this is a money grab? 100%. Do I think that it shouldn't have been $70? 150%. Do I think it's still a great game? Yes. Do I think
And the
if you
best
never
version
played
of that
Last of
game.
It? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the best version. 100%. There's no denying that. If this was like $40, I would say it's a must buy. But it all depends. If you play Last of Us as much as me, you probably don't need this game. If I didn't play this game, I wouldn't have gained anything playing. I didn't gain anything playing it. It looked better, and that was about it. But it was still fun. It's still a fun
The
game.
shooting was a lot tighter, I think,
The shooting was definitely better.
and they
It's
cleaned up the
Naughty
melee
Dog
combat a little
shooting,
bit.
so Naughty Dog
which
shooting's
is
always
great.
okay. It's okay. Let's be honest. But
I am being honest. Part two, you didn't like part two's fucking I thought you loved their combat.
the combat was good in part two, definitely better than one by far. But it's still the shooting part is still okay. The best part about part two is combining stealth with the shooting and the
I
traps.
think their gunplay feels so tight and like heavy and
It's
visceral.
okay. It's definitely up close, like with a shotgun, yeah. But I never really used guns in two. I used the bow and arrow when I could. I got up close and personal when I could.
I
Like
did the
it's
same
just
too, but like I
yeah,
just love the way the guns feel and like
yeah,
in
yeah,
Last of Us. I always
yeah,
loved it personally.
yeah,
But that's just me.
yeah.
I mean,
But
we played a hell of a lot of the online, so you had to like the gunplay at some
yeah,
point.
no, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just like this game didn't like vastly improve the gunplay. It just made it a little bit tighter.
Well, of course not. Just made it tighter, made it feel
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great game. I definitely if you haven't played Last of Us, I can't recommend it enough. But if you played it once or twice, you don't have to buy this game for anything more than 20-30 bucks.
Yeah,
Um,
I did not finish it. I got to fall. I'm gonna go back to and finish it. But
well, you
I mean,
finished the longest part of it, so
well, you know how I feel. I mean, Last of Us is my favorite game of all time. I mean,
yeah,
it's
it's an
truly a
excellent game.
classic and a marvel, just an entertainment. I think it has one of the best stories I've ever heard, if not my favorite. And
Yeah,
I
story wise.
adore it. Yeah, like I adore the hell out of it. So that's why, like, even though yes, was it a money grab? Yes, absolutely should have been $70. Absolutely not. I still spent it. I actually got the deluxe, of course, because I'm a Naughty Dog whore. But I just it is the best version of that game,
Yeah.
and I can't tout that game enough. And for someone who hasn't played it, that can then go straight to part two. I mean, like you really can't do better than that. I mean,
Well,
in some ways, it
I
looks
feel
better than
like
part two because it's a
that
PS5 game.
that's how they made it. They made it for people to get into part two and the TV
Yeah,
show and so on. So I think it's a smart move from Sony in terms of business wise. I just think it's a little shady for Buddy. But anyway,
yeah.
um, immortality.
I
I
heard
haven't
about
heard.
this. I saw a trailer on it, and I'm like, this looks weird. It's basically like an FMV game.
Interesting. It sounds
It's like
kind of
an
cool.
FMV like puzzle game based
Hmm.
on this film star. I'm pretty sure she was real when I looked her up. I wasn't sure she was real or not, but it's weird. Like I was looking at the trailers, I'm like, oh, this is strange. It's on
I might
Game
try that.
Pass.
Might
Yeah,
try that.
it's an FMV game, which I can't remember the last time I played FMV game.
Well, I don't really like this series that much. I tried it, but I know a lot of people love this series. And I'm glad that I got a sequel because of how many people on my Twitter and my YouTube keep mentioning this. So that's cool. But not a huge fan of these type of games anymore. I used to be more into it with like 3DS and stuff. It's like a puzzle, like how do you like a detective style game, like Phoenix Wright.
Of course, I want to play Tunic. I've heard nothing but great things about Tunic. I haven't heard one bad thing about it. I've had it downloaded on my Xbox. So it's been on Game Pass for like fucking 3 months now since it came out. But
I never even heard of it.
I want to play it. Like it's a Zelda like, but I've heard it's great. There's like no map, which is weird. It's more like it sets you up with like hints and where to find things. But as far as I know, there's like no map in it or
Oh,
something like
fuck
that.
that.
But
Fuck that.
it's cool. I want to try it. Like it sounds fucking awesome, and just the art style is beautiful. So I definitely want to give it a shot. If I knew we were doing Game of the Year, I would have played it. But
Well, damn.
well,
Okay.
I didn't know we were doing this early.
Spider-Man
So
Miles Morales.
for PC,
I love this game.
it's a great
Uh,
game. I also need to go back and finish it.
it's 6 hours. Go beat it. No,
Yeah.
it is really short. But I do like it. Pentiment, is that right? Pentiment.
Intimate. That's also in Game Pass.
I don't know what that is. Fuck it. Sentinels. Oh, I didn't know this came out on the Switch. Switch users, if you haven't played this game, I can't recommend it enough. Really fun. All right, let's talk about the biggest
There's another one of your
disappointment of the
favorite.
year.
One of your favorite games of the year.
What, Horizon?
A sequel to one of your favorite games of all time.
Yeah. So
Interestingly enough,
I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I still hold it as the
you
best
do.
PS4 game of all time. Horizon Forbidden West is just a really disappointing sequel. I don't think it's a bad game.
That's what
I
I've
still
heard
would
about
give
it.
it
Yeah.
a 7 out of 10. I think it's just it lost all the spark that the first one had. I still enjoyed the combat. I still enjoy going to different places. I think the environments look beautiful, but the story is so boring. I could not give a
That's what
fuck
I
about
heard.
any of these characters. Like I like
It sounded like
Alloy.
it was very political and bland from what I
It's
hear.
not. It's a little political, but it's like just so like none of these characters do anything that I care about except for Alloy, and Alloy is cool except that she's keeps getting like
Alloy.
stopped by all these. You know what I mean? You got all these other fucking characters like, hey, can you help me get fucking
Yeah.
the meat off the fish rack and the
I heard
blah
it's a
blah.
lot of like fetch quests and
A
stuff
lot of fetch
almost.
quests.
And I'm like, oh man, that sounds
Yeah.
awful.
I do
I
think
want to
that's
try it. I
no,
do,
it's worth
but
playing because it could be the game where you're like, I love these characters. And I've seen people like that where I'm like, they're totally invested and the combat's still great. I think the combat is faster, more brutal. It's harder. I mean, the first game had some hard moments. This game definitely throws some nasty guys at you. Fucking laser beams coming from the sky with their attacks. So really some cool stuff. It's just that it didn't have the spark that the first game had. It didn't have the story that I cared about. It didn't have the pacing that I wanted. Like, dude, I played like 35, 40 hours of this game and I still didn't beat it.
oh
That's too
shit.
long for an
Was
action
it really
game.
that long?
It's very long because they
I
have a
didn't know
lot of RPG elements, similar to another game that we're going to talk about later
from
on.
how much I heard you talk about it when you were playing it, I thought you might have put like 15 max into
Now,
it. I didn't know you
I
put
was
that
at
much.
36 hours and like 47 minutes. Something. And again, I didn't hate it playing it. I was having fun up until that point. It's just that every
You got
time I
bored.
played it, yeah, like my score kept dropping little by little because I'm just not invested in things. So yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. It's still a good game, but it definitely is a huge step down from 1 for me in terms of caring about it. Um,
I'm gonna guess that since I was not the biggest fan of Horizon, I tried multiple times to get into Horizon, as you
yeah,
know. I really did. I really wanted to like it because I know how much you loved it. I don't know what it is. Like I really don't. I just think that maybe I think the combat system is sound, but it just never grabbed me in a way that I wanted it to. Because Horizon's such a weird game for me. Because every time I played it, I'm like, I want to like this. I really do. I think the world is interesting. I think the characters are interesting. I think the combat has interesting systems. It's just like there wasn't something there for me. it couldn't fucking grab me, and I hated that
you
because I
might
wanted
like
to
two
like it.
more. You might like two more because it adds more melee combat. It adds more traps. It adds a lot of different ways to use the environment, like jumping on a pedestal and jumping off and shooting and things. So it's definitely more
Maybe yeah, maybe I'll get what's on
versatile.
sale. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like $35 this week because of the Black
Yeah, Black
Friday.
Friday. Yeah, there's
So
God, there's a lot on
there's
sale. I
actually
kind of
two
want to pick up.
games on that list that you guys might want to try out. Horizon at $35, definitely worth it. When I bought it for 70, no. At half price, yes. Another one I don't know if it's going to be on here is Ghostwire. Another game right now. I think
That's
it's
why I
like
took it.
$25. Definitely worth $25. The game is actually a lot of fun. It's just that it didn't impress me overall, but I thought it was a lot of fun playing it. It just had those like minor things that held it back. Anyway, let's see if it's even on here. But
I bought that.
Uncharted,
I bought that.
why? Why?
Why?
Why did you buy Uncharted Legacy of the Thieves Collection? Did you play it?
It's because I owned Legacy and Uncharted 4. I think I got a discount. I think I got it for like $20. So I was like, oh, why not? I'll buy it.
Did you play it?
Have I played it? No,
Yeah, I didn't think so.
but I
You
own it.
wasted your money.
You know, it's funny. I also bought it because if you remembered, I bought it because I was going to get an Uncharted ticket for free. So I kind of wanted to see
So you wanted to hurt
Uncharted in
yourself
theaters.
more.
Yeah, so like I was like, let me go. Like this is like when I was still single, like before I was like with Amy. So I'm like, you know what? I'll still go see a bad movie in theaters for sure. And then if you remember, I got the ticket in my email, and it was a Saturday. I was at home by myself, and I'm just like, do I really? As I've gotten older, I'm like, do I really want to go like sit down in a movie theater for 2 hours, pay for concessions, and like see a movie that I know is going to be bad?
Yeah, do
And
you?
I told myself no because I just didn't want to. Like now, like if I was to do that with Amy, that would be a lot more fun. But
Oh
like by
yeah.
myself, I'm just like that's a waste of time. I could be like playing something.
Yeah, or
So
jerking off.
I suppose so. Yeah.
All right, so Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster didn't play, and I know you didn't, so let's just go past that.
Turn to Monkey
It's
Island. New
yeah,
Monkey Island.
You made a Monkey fucking Island again? Damn,
Yep.
this series has been going on since I think I was born. All right.
Gran Turismo 7, I completely forgot that came out, probably because I don't care.
Yeah, who gives a fuck about race cars? Stupid ass game.
I just never thought Gran Turismo was that cool. I always preferred like Burnout, Need for Speed.
Oh, they're much better games, in my
Gran
opinion.
Turismo, Gran Turismo's like stay in the line.
They're like, it's realistic. I'm like, exactly why I don't want to play
Exactly.
it. What the fuck? Tiny
Yeah.
Kin.
Ollie World's fun. I played that on Xbox.
Oh,
Pretty sure.
look at the Queen.
Oh yes, the Witch King. I still can't fucking believe they're making Destiny 2 DLC.
Because it's
insane to
garbage.
me.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that was pretty fun for the hour that we played.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we played like an hour and a half. We're like, this was fun. Never played it
Yeah.
again. But it
Yeah,
was
you
fun.
know.
It's the best arcade like to come out
Oh
this
yeah.
year.
Yeah, especially for it being easy co-op, just drop in, drop out. Very,
Yeah.
very fun.
It was fun. I liked it.
I don't know what
The
this
fuck
is.
is Inscription?
That's
Oh, is that that's the card based game that I think came out for PC I think last year. It's like a I've heard it's more like a Pokemon like, more like monsters. Yeah.
Interesting. I might try that. Marvel, Spider-Man did come out this year
Did
for
come
the
out this
PC.
year. In
Excellent game.
August.
Talking about Marvel, have you downloaded Marvel Snap?
Yes.
Did you play it?
No.
What the fuck, man?
I'm
It's
sorry,
an
man.
excellent game.
Dude, I really don't fucking play phone games that much anymore. I really don't.
But I'm
like
telling you, this game is so good. And you only have to play like 10 minutes a day to feel like you have accomplished something.
Oh, I
more.
believe you. I will get to it. Trust me. I definitely will
So
get
good.
to it.
I mean, Kelly plays every night, and you know she don't play card games, and you know she doesn't play cell phone games. This is our first cell phone game ever. So I'm
Really?
telling you.
Ever?
Yeah,
It's
she's
impressive.
never played cell phone games, and she's every night. I gotta get my shit like you do.
I played Toon Blast.
Oh, what is this? Hold on.
Why does it say time left 10 minutes?
That's what I saw. For a
Are you
recording.
gonna have to like re-record it?
I don't know.
That's
Let me
weird.
see if I'm gonna stop the recording. Oh damn, I don't know if I should. Well, let's see. We'll get to it. If it stops, then I can just do another one. Okay.
It Takes
What
Two.
the fuck?
I actually thought about. I want to play that with Amy because we've been trying to find stuff to play together recently.
It Takes Two. I never
Well,
played that game, but I heard it was good.
well, they have EA Play on Game Pass, so we could play it together. I need to get another Xbox controller.
Ooh,
Cult of the Lamb.
Rise
Cult of the Lamb is
Celebrate.
also something I want to play, and she also wants to play that. I'd like to check
What
it
is
out. It
that?
looks interesting. Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a top-down. I guess what's the best way to describe it? It's like a isometric roguelike.
Did you ever get your PC thing?
My PC thing.
Yeah, the PC, the
Steam
mobile.
Deck.
Yeah.
No, Valve sent me the email back in like July, August, like, hey, you can get a Steam Deck now. Because remember whenever you put $5 down last year because you wanted it? I'm like, yeah, I remember. Like, well, do you want it now? I said, not really. But I don't know. I kind of want to get one still because it's interesting, but also I've heard it's more for people who have like a desktop with Steam on it because it's more compatible that way. But I'd like to see it. I think it's interesting. I've heard good things about it. It has no dock right now though, so it's completely handheld. And I would be able to play PC games that I've missed out on over the past fucking decade plus or whatever. The last time I had a PC, but like I think like stuff like Valheim, I'd like to see, and maybe a few other things, but I don't know if I can justify the purchase right now.
Yeah, I think I'll wait for like the second Steam Deck.
I was just about to say that. I think I'd like to wait more whenever there's like a better like graphics card in it.
Steam Deck Pro.
Yeah, with maybe even like something where they could potentially put like a micro like SSD in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a micro SSD, maybe it does, but yeah, I mean it has an SD card now, I know, which is not, the best performance, but I would like to see it. Maybe I will get it. I don't know, but I kind of want to wait till like the second roll around with it. But I don't know. I'll see.
Bayonetta 3 is a game that I want to play.
You're all robot-y.
I'm robot-y?
Yeah.
My voice?
Mm-hmm. What'd you do? Do you have a modulator like Jimmy does?
No.
There you go. You fixed it.
Right now, that's the wrong mic.
Now it's great.
No, it's a bad mic. Can you hear me?
It's a bad mic. Yeah, it's better.
That's better.
Did you play Bayonetta 3?
No, I want to play Bayonetta 3. That's a game that I had on my list that I want to try out. It looks really fun, but it's with Switch games I don't buy them too often, so I'll probably wait till it's like $30 or something and I'll pick it up. But it looks fun.
I'd like to play it. I'd have to play it on Amy's Switch, so.
Yeah, I wish it just came out on PS5 and Xbox, so but
I don't know why they didn't do that. I think it's because Nintendo paid Platinum Games so much fucking money to have it.
well, they made it. Nintendo put the money to Platinum Games to make it.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason. So it'll never come to PS5.
Probably not. Legend of Heroes. Funny thing about this, I was going to get this on PS5, which is that other one I was up there. However, this is insane. The Switch version is made by a different team than the PS5 version did, and the PS5 version apparently didn't upgrade it like the Switch version did. It's just like the PS5 version is just the original, just barely touched. Whereas this, they upgraded like the visuals and new voice acting. Oh, so I'm like, why would you do that? And that sucks because I much prefer playing my RPGs on the PS5 or Xbox.
So it's like they ported it from Switch to PS5. That sounds
no. They ported the original game. These games are like PS1 games or PS2 games. Okay. And the Switch version got a nice overhaul, but the PS5 did not. Saying that, I do eventually want to play it, and this one as well I heard is really good. Tactics or Reborn. Now I played this a long time ago and I liked it, but it was hard as fuck. I was also younger then.
I want to play Vampire Survivors. That's another great one I've heard. A lot of people say for some people that's their game of the year.
Really?
For good things about
I never even heard it. I also heard this was a great game, Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty good.
I like the first one. I hear this is a nice improvement, which I'm big on that. If I like a first game and they improve a lot of stuff, I'm all about that. And
Uncharted 2, Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, exactly. I call it the Uncharted 2 effect whenever a game's like super big. Total War Warhammer 3. I didn't even know they came out with another one. Cool.
Oh yeah, they're still making Warhammer games, man. They just came out with like a co-op game.
Oh no, but I meant the Total War one. I haven't seen the Total War version in a long time, which is awesome. Yeah, I know. I saw the new War. Those Warhammer games kind of suck though. These are great, like the strategy RPG ones. These they do a lot of good stuff with.
I saw Crusader Kings 3 got like that's an RTS that just came out recently, and that got a lot of fucking love.
I want to play this game, and
it's on Game Pass. Xbox, yeah, I didn't even know the first two existed, but. Like honestly, I haven't played a great RTS in a long time. Remember the last time I played like a good RTS I loved.
Yeah,
that was probably like Command and Conquer or something on like 360, maybe even like Battle for Middle Earth.
You know,
was
like
really
a launch
good game.
I liked Halo Wars too. I was playing.
I liked Halo Wars as well. Yeah.
Well, no, the second one was even better. But the problem with Halo Wars 2, it fucking would freeze constantly. Like I'd be in the middle of a mission, just freeze, and then you got to restart the whole thing. I'm like. The third time that happened, dude, I was out, and it sucked too because I was enjoying myself. Like I was having a really good time playing it. The story was fucked up.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's where I played it. But man, I don't know if it was just glitches or whatever, but man, it froze too many times.
Can you go back up a little bit? I feel like we might have missed someone.
That's
just Citizen Sleeper. I've heard things about Citizen Sleeper. I don't know too much about it though.
Yeah, Beacon Pines, never heard of. There's Tunic again.
Shredder's Revenge.
This is where we start getting to the same shit on different systems. Yeah. Shovel Knight.
Anything
Shovel
new?
Knight's still coming out. Again, Monster Hunter.
Oh, the Monster Hunter Rise.
That's fucking funny that the PC version got higher than the Switch version.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Probably performs a lot better.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking.
I'm really interested to see what they do for the next console Monster Hunter.
Yes,
I really want to see what they do, especially with Wild Hearts coming out.
Yeah,
and seeing how interesting that's going to be and how similar it will be.
Wild Hearts looks crazy but fun.
It does. You know what? When I watched that footage, when I sent you that footage that day, I'm like, this looks great, but like visually, it looks rough. And like, I saw something. It looked rough.
You know who's creating it, right?
It's by Team Ninja, right?
Not Team Ninja. It's by the guys who made God.
Or is it Koei Tecmo?
Yeah, I think it's Koei Tecmo. And God Eater is a good game. But
the
it's
PS2 ones.
But it's a rough
that's God
version.
Hand. That's God Hand.
Yeah, they're basically rough versions of Monster Hunter. This one looks like definitely over the top, but that could be good. That could be in its favor.
Correct Kirby the Forgotten Land I heard was great.
Yeah, I mean Kirby's are always good. I
Kirby
like
games
Kirby.
I've heard they're always charming and
Yeah, they're
fun.
fun.
Honestly, like, would you smack the shit out of me if I said like I go on Best Buy sometimes? And I just kind of look to see what deals they have, and of course, like on a whim one day, I looked up like, I wonder if my Best Buy has Switch OLEDs, and they do in
I
stock.
mean, I bought that. I love my when I play the Switch, I play it on handheld almost always. The OLED looks fucking
Oh, I'm
beautiful.
sure it
The
does.
colors
Like
pop. It's
my
great.
biggest my biggest problem, as you know, with my Switch is that I didn't play it enough, and that's why I
Yeah,
sold it. But then I see stuff like Kirby or like Bayonetta 3 and other stuff that comes out, and I'm like, does that justify a purchase? But then Amy brings me back down to earth, and she says, I have a Switch. You don't
yeah,
need to
just
buy
wait.
one. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think, or just wait for Switch 2. We know it's coming. It's the best
yeah,
selling system ever, pretty much.
I'd
So
probably do that. I'd probably pick up like the
yeah,
Switch 2 or whatever the hell it's
I
gonna
mean, the
be.
OLED is nice though. If you buy it, it's not a bad purchase, but it's definitely
I can't see a situation where Nintendo gets away from like a handheld console that can also be a docked console.
no
I
right.
can't see that. It's been too successful for them.
It's too successful, and right now the each company is doing exactly what they should do. Sony focusing on interactive movie style games, Xbox focusing on a broad amount of different games from indie to big time AAA, and then Nintendo focusing on handheld and indie. That's the way each of them should do it.
He saves the world.
I never heard of that. Infernex. Never heard of that.
Fernex. Never heard of
Oh,
that either.
Triangle Strategy. Okay. I thought that was last year. Or maybe it was this year.
Betrayal at Club Low.
I like Triangle Strategy. I thought it was fun. Very political. Very. To the point where
In
I
what
was like,
way?
it's just very like talking about politics, how to survive. You make choices, and the entire game changes. So if you don't like save someone, you go a whole different storyline from there, which is cool. I love those. That makes me want to replay them.
I thought you
It's
didn't play PC games.
it's on Switch. I don't know why it's
Oh,
on
it is okay.
um, PC too, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now it's very 2D. It's 2D strategy. It's very much like Final Fantasy Tactics. It's also hard at times. Some areas I had to redo because I kept dying. But yeah, overall really fun. I thought it was too much political jarring, like just talking about politics to the point where I'm like, let me just go save this fucking person or kill this other person. But for the 37 hours that I played, I really had a good time for the most of it. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 or 7.5, something like that.
You know
Yeah,
what's
let's
funny?
what?
You remember whenever we were doing like years 2010 to about 2014? You notice how like 2K, NBA 2K was on like all those top 100s?
Now it's not even in the lower hundreds.
It's not, look at that. It's not even fucking like at 84.
Did it make it on the
And
second
that's a
page?
sports, and you know what else is in here? FIFA.
Wow.
What does
Not even
that
on
tell
the
you? What does
football
that tell
manager.
you?
Football manager 2023 is.
Exactly. That's fucking higher than FIFA and 2K. It's
Yeah.
interesting, man. Oh, look, there's
Wow.
Stray. That's another one that got consideration. I actually have the list right here. This is for the Game of the Year awards. This is what's going to be
Just gotta scroll real fast just to see.
nominated. Grounded is something I'd like to try again. I told Amy this the other day. I want to play Grounded because it seems
Yeah,
interesting.
me too.
I also need like you and Jimmy and like Gian to
Yeah,
play with
we gotta play.
because yeah, it's one of those games where you have to play with at least like two other people.
Yeah, I heard it's a lot of fun now that it's out. Like now it's officially released.
I
Um,
completely forgot Sifu came out this year. I'm just gonna add it
oh,
for
Fire Emblem.
consideration.
Let me just say real fast that this was pretty fun, but again, another game that put too much fluff. But this is like it's like a Warriors game, like Dynasty Warriors mixed with Fire Emblem. So, but the story was way better than I expected it to be. I thought it was gonna be
There it
shit.
is. Just saw it.
Wait, what'd you say?
2K. 80.
Nice.
It was 94.
Holy fuck,
Yeah.
garbage.
You know why?
Why? It's garbage.
Microtransactions, baby.
Oh, I thought it was because the game was in it again. Um,
I mean, like it's a better game than last year, gameplay wise, for the most part. But again, it's 2K. 2K and I have a love hate relationship over the years. But It's the problem with 2K is it has become fucking disgustingly riddled with microtransactions and pay to win. For
Money, baby, capitalism. Woo!
or it's my team mode or with my career, because the best part about my career is that to upgrade your player you have to use the virtual currency, which guess what, you can buy. So and they lock,
Uh,
and every stat costs like an insane amount as you level it up more to get to the point where it's like one stat point is like 3,000 BC, and from one game that you play, which takes about, let's say, 45 minutes, you'll get like 800 BC.
that's
Yeah,
fucked, man. They think they're a mobile
it's
game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like it's disgusting, and that's why a lot of like the community has just become frustrated with them to the point where I wouldn't blame people if they just start boycotting it, because it's become a point where like it's not even that fun anymore because you have to like pay to at least get your player to a point where you can actually enjoy it.
You know what would be interesting is looking at the sales and seeing if they've declined.
I was
That'd
just
be
about to tell
interesting.
you. I was just about to tell you that. What's funny is, I think I'm just gonna start waiting at least like 3 months to buy 2K from every year
Mm.
on out, because I bought the fucking $100 edition, which is a Michael Jordan edition or something like that. Guess what? It's on sale half price now,
Of course.
and it came out 3 fucking months ago. Not even 2 months ago.
I'm just in general now. I limit myself to buying maybe 5 games a year at full price.
That's about me. Yeah, that's
I
about me
I
too.
can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. And the 4 games that I bought at, no, three, because I got Xenoblade half off. The 3 games that I bought at full price this year, I liked them. I mean, Horizon was a little bit of a oh no, well, I bought four. I bought Digimon Survivor. That was a disappointment. But
And you were
Horizon
on
was
your
also a
Digimon
disappointment.
craze.
But my two that I didn't find disappointing that we're going to talk about now is Elden Ring and God of War. Do you want to go first? Your game of the year?
No, please, you go first. It's your channel.
Okay, so I did like Elden Ring a lot. Uh, definitely invested. I think it was like 47 hours, something like that. I would have to look. I spent a lot of time in this game. I got pretty far. I would say I got pretty far, right? For someone who doesn't
Where'd you
really like the
stop?
dialogue. Shit. The fucking castle. The guy that you took a few nights to beat. Um, that I mean, I
Radon?
did. Yeah, I did other stuff outside of him. Apparently, I went to a place I wasn't supposed to go till later. I fought
A lot
some
of places you're
fucking
not supposed to go to that
yeah.
are you're under leveled for. Yeah.
I fought some fucking knight who was like dashing around the stage. That was crazy. So a lot of fun. I thought the exploring and visiting different areas was super cool. I liked all that. Again, it is a Dark Souls game, and so I don't
Well, from
give a
soft game.
yeah, from so I mean like that style game.
Souls
It
like.
has this
Yeah.
story and lore that you got to read about to really get. And I'm just like, man, if I want to read a dark fantasy, I'm just gonna fucking read Berserk. I don't give a shit about the story in this. But as far as the gameplay, I thought the gameplay was solid enough. I think the problem with the gameplay for me is that it has the heavy feel that I particularly don't love. And even if you use lighter weapons, the overall gameplay doesn't vastly change. But if you like that gameplay, that this to me is the most refined style. This reminds me of like mixing like open world action games mixed with Dark Souls, kind of combining those two ideas in one. So I liked it a lot. But as far as like the game that I've been just playing this morning, God of War is probably going to be my game of the year, give or take if Midnight Sun or Protocol don't blow me away. I'm going to go with God of War right now, and I think the reason I like God of War is because I, you know, the flaws that you're gonna say are probably pretty evident to most players who play one and two. But for me, I wasn't the hugest fan of one. I liked one a lot. It's my second favorite God of War, but I thought that the flaws were glaring in that game, whereas the flaws in this game aren't as glaring for me right now. I haven't beaten the game, but the combat still remains pretty interesting. I think the biggest thing that I feel, and I'm sure you're gonna mention is the other gameplay, the Atreus gameplay, is not for everyone, and I totally get that. Similar to I think like MJ and Spider Man, a lot of people just like hated those parts. I didn't mind those parts. Atreus's combat is fine to me now that I got a new weapon with him. It's actually really fun where I'm at. So I'm enjoying his gameplay, but Kratos' gameplay Again, I think that axe is one of the coolest fucking weapons in gaming. So I just have a blast no matter how many foes I take down the same way. It's just to me is always fun. And I'm heavily invested in this story. If I like the first one story, I am really intrigued with this story and the way it's going. And being a father, I think that really resonates with me. And Kratos' evolution to this point to Papa Kratos is just
Daddy
really, really
Kratos,
connected.
Big Daddy
Yeah,
Kratos.
yeah, he's just like an old wise man, and I love that he's changed so much, and you can tell he cares about Atreus, and he calls Atreus by Atreus, and then the only time he ever says boy now is when he is mad,
Yeah.
and you don't see it often that much. He doesn't really get too mad in this game, at least to the point I'm at. I'm sure later on there's going to be parts. But yeah, I'm totally invested in this game. This one has really every time I play it, I'm enjoying it. I think the side quests are good enough where I feel like they're a little fluff, but I'm intrigued because there's always a story. I'm talking about the side quests that are meaningful, not the I'm here forever, save my soul. They're not those. But like, Freya's side quests or any of the side characters
Mirrors.
or yeah, mirrors. Any of the main characters I'm calling them because they're really part of the story now. Any of
Yeah.
their quests have been really like I just finished Freya's the other day and I loved hers. So yeah, I'm really invested. This game makes me feel things. I'm sad sometimes. I'm happy. I'm intrigued. And yeah, it's a gorgeous looking game. Gorgeous.
One of the best
Um,
looking games I think I've ever seen.
ever. Not just talking about the technical side, which
It's
is
got some
also really
glitches. Yeah, I've definitely seen quite a few
yeah.
glitches, but I mean,
There's a
visually,
few
it's
glitches,
Marvel.
but like that part where you're like looking over when you go to Odin, when you're looking over, and I'm just like, my God, this looks like a painting.
Oh,
It
Asgard, yeah. Yeah.
holy shit. And so I'm just like stunned. And then, not even saying that, just the artistic side of it, this feels a lot more vibrant than the first game. The first game was like moody and a lot of corridors and things. This game is bright, beautiful outside a lot. I really enjoy that.
It's a lot more luscious. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, so I'm just gonna stop yammering. God of War is my game of the year right now. Could it change? I don't know. Midnight Sun would really have to like impress the shit out of me, or Protocol might be that sleeper hit. That's happened to me before. There's been games I had really not much intrigue, and then I play it. I'm like, that's my game of the year. And so I'm eager to play those. But God of War really impressed me. This might be my favorite God of War game by the end. It is it's creeping up on
Wow,
two.
finally something will take over two for you.
Yeah. Funny enough, the second game of the second series is taking over the second game of the original. But yeah, Ragnarok is really just impressing the shit out of me. So yeah, that's my game of the year.
Ragnarok's been an interesting one for me because, as you know, like when I started it, like I think the high of that Thor fight was so great.
So
Um,
good.
just
Similar
like
to one.
and I think the intensity of that setup as well, like with Ryan Hurst's acting,
Yeah.
like as he walks in and he's like, are you a calm and reasonable person? I'm just like, fuck. Like that whole scene, like with him and Odin coming in, was just great, and especially whenever Odin proposes that truce to Kratos, and he just stands up and goes, "No," and then he's like, "Don't take all day." And you just fucking see Thor stand up with his huge fucking belly. I mean, he's fucking like 8 feet and probably like 500 pounds, and then he's
This
just
is
like,
definitely an intimidating door.
yeah, it really is. Like this is like one of my favorite Thors. Like, I think I've ever seen. Like he's just that fucking cool. Like he looks terrifying. He's awesome. And just when he stands up with how fucking huge and he's like, about time. I'm like, oh, love it. Like that whole
Even the
scene was just.
battle, he kills you in the back,
Oh,
and then he
your voice
fucking
again.
revives.
Sorry. There you go. You fix it.
Does it sound better now?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that fucking that threw me for a loop too. Like when he kills you, and,
Yeah.
then you get the fucking like loading screen.
It's like
And then
not yet.
It's like I'm not finished with you yet. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that was good. And just
The frozen lightning whenever like Kratos freezes his lightning.
oh, dude, that part where he's like, you weren't around for your son. He's like, what the fuck you say?
Yeah,
I was
great.
like, this store's entertaining.
Yeah, the fuck you say? Yeah, no, I think Ryan's been like excellent. I mean, as you know, that's my guy from.
I think the voice acting in general has been
all of it.
from Freya, Kratos,
yeah.
Odin. Odin is a super surprise for me. I love his more like,
Absolutely. Yeah,
everything's
Richard
cool,
Schiff.
man. Yeah, no problem, dude. But I'm a
Yeah,
fucking asshole. But yeah, I'm like, I
you know,
love that.
like when I showed Amy that scene with Thor, Odin, and Kratos and Atreus, whenever like Odin came in, like she's like, it seems like it's Richard Schiff playing Richard Schiff
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
Odin.
But that's
It's
great.
very much, yeah, it's very much like a Richard Schiff role, but it's cool because it's very like almost like lackadaisical. Like he even said like the words "my ex" when he
Yeah,
was speaking about Freya, which was very like modern speaking.
yeah. It's a
So it's
different
really interesting
Odin.
how it's yeah, exactly. It's a different Odin. It's not the Anthony Hopkins Odin
Yeah,
from the Thor movies. Like it's a very different, and he's small. You know, like
yeah,
it's interesting because it almost makes him more dangerous in the sense that like okay, he can kill you with his words.
yeah.
You know, he can destroy your life with just like his thinking and his mind and his words. Like that's what makes him like so menacing.
And
I feel like.
that's what we get from the sidecast is like, it's not that he's strong, it's that he will destroy you mentally.
Yeah.
And from
Well, that's what
Freya, Tyr, all of
that
them are
scene
saying it.
that scene, yeah, with all of them, whenever like Atreus picks up the mirror's
Yeah,
like, if he tells you snow is white, he's lying. And I'm
yeah,
like, fuck.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
it was excellent. And then I reached a point where I'm like, I feel like I was kind of dying off from it. Not because of the story, but because of the combat. I feel like the combat was starting to become a little bit stale for me.
mhm,
Because I had just replayed 2018. I'd just beaten it right before I went to Ragnarok, so I wanted
yeah,
to refresh my memory and just get a couple more trophies. So I came to this like really fresh on the story, but also maybe quite invested in, rather quite maybe a little bit drawn out in the combat. So I came into it thinking like, okay, I'm interested to see the changes they've made. They took away some stuff I didn't really like. I don't like that they took away the barehanded skill tree. I don't like that they kind of like streamlined some of the moves or some of the heavy attacks and runic attacks into the combos. They definitely changed some things. I think better changes for the most part, but there was also some changes that I feel didn't really work and make sense. Um, so I kind of started to reach a point in the combat where I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the next story bit. And I think a big reason for that was because of Atreus's combat scenarios. I think I realized, okay, the first few times this is all right, but then as you know, like when you get to Ironwood, and I thought that went on way too long. I thought it could have been shaved down by probably a good 20, 30 minutes. Um, but I think I realized is like I don't love Atreus's combat sections, with the exception of a few of them, because I just don't feel like they're that engaging in the sense that a lot of them just feel the same for me. Whereas
yeah,
with Kratos, I feel like I have so many different options playing as Kratos that it makes his combat sections feel interesting and new each
yeah,
time. And I think that was a big issue for me. And I think once I realized that about the combat and I just accepted it, then I was able to kind of like move and appreciate the good parts and just like kind of like play through the down parts. But saying that, I think Ragnarok is an absolute marvel. I think it's one of the best games of the year and easily one of the best games for PS5 so far.
yeah,
I love Kratos as a character. I mean, like, I've been fucking following that dude since I was 12 years old.
yeah.
And it's really cool just to see like how different
It's
he's
growth.
become. Yeah,
Yeah,
and just see like he's almost legitimately scared. He's legitimately scared that like Atreus is going to get killed or hurt, and you can
yeah,
see that all over him in this game. That he is legitimately terrified that he's going to lose his son, like another
yeah,
one of his children,
yeah.
and that's why I love this Kratos so much. But nonetheless, I love Ragnarok, and I'm really enjoying it, and I will see it through. But there's one game I played this year for 90 hours, and
Elden Ring.
that's why my game of the year is going to have to be Elden Ring because Elden Ring is by far the most interesting game that I've played all year. It's the game I've invested the most time into. The first time I played like 40 hours, and then I fell off of it because I feel like my build like wasn't what I was really trying to go for. And then I replayed it. I started again back in early October, and then I played that game probably almost every day for about a solid month.
Yeah, you're sicko.
Yeah, and I did
Yeah.
everything I. Yeah, I am. I'm a sick fuck and a masochist, I suppose. But I put so much time into that, and I beat every single demigod I could. Like I tried to do every like side quest I could. Um, Elden Ring to me is just a marvel. It's a marvel in gaming. I think it's easily From Software's best game, and I say that with very high regard for Sekiro. I love Sekiro. It was my game of the year for 2019. I adore Sekiro. But Elden Ring did something for me that I was not expecting in the sense that it might be the most like fantastical adventure game I've ever played. Like it really is. Like I went to Elden Ring
Better
being
than
like,
Witcher 3?
that's a tough one. That really is a tough one because of how much I love Witcher 3. They're coming out with the next gen update, by the way, December
I
14th.
saw it. It looks fucking great too.
Yeah, it might be my excuse finally to go back to it. I probably will, but that's hard to say. But I can confidently say that Elden Ring is one of the best fantasy games I've played, and one of the best games I've ever played. And I think the biggest reason for that is the diversity that you have at your disposal with its combat. I know you didn't experiment too much with the combat, but there really is like a vast amount of options. Like the amount of diversity that you have in the combat is to me what makes it so interesting because you really can create any type of build you want. And I think that's what makes it so interesting. I've seen so many different play styles playing with people online. I've seen people come in with fucking like two giant hammers or like two fucking colossal greatswords. Um, I've seen dudes come in with dual whips. You know, I've seen one person using a fucking rapier and like, a staff in the other. I've seen someone using fucking like the fist with like a fucking dagger in one hand. It's just like some weird, wacky, crazy things. And I think that's what makes it so unique is that every build I've seen online, every single person that I've played with, like their play style is completely different from mine, with some similarities, but incredibly different. Um, I probably went through probably two or three builds in this playthrough when I beat it, and each build felt fun and unique to me. And I eventually settled on like a dual greatswords build that used frostbite with some magic spells. But um, I think the biggest part for me too is, unlike you, I actually really love the lore. I think the lore is fucking awesome. And fucking face you're doing, what the fuck, man? Insulting. No, I honestly do. I think the lore of that game is incredible, and a big part of that is because of how great the music is. The music really sells everything in that game. It's one of the
Yeah.
best soundtracks I've ever heard. Like, every time
Okay.
I went into a boss fight, I'm like, this feels fucking epic. This feels important. And I think that's what was so great about it. I think a big reason I love it is because when I was playing through Elden Ring this year, I felt like I was back as a kid when I was watching Lord of the Rings in theaters. Like
See,
if
that's
it
it. Because I think Lord of the Rings sucks. So
exactly. I think that's why. Like I love Lord of the Rings, you think it sucks. And I think that's finally what sold it for me is I think I realized I feel a nostalgic feeling of when I was a kid watching Lord of the Rings movies because I feel like I'm creating my own adventure. And I feel like I haven't done this like since I was a kid. And I think that's what I love most about Elden Ring is that it's so expansive, it's so vibrant. The amount of lore in that game is ridiculous. The size of that world is insane. And you would think that something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's a bad thing. But I think what I love about Elden Ring is I always wanted to see like every fucking corner of that world and find
yeah, well,
everything I
no,
could.
it definitely did exploring better than Assassin's Creed because what Assassin's Creed does wrong, in my opinion, of exploring is it gives you cool areas to look at, but nothing in those areas. You know what I'm
Exactly. And in
saying?
Elden Ring, everything was different.
Yeah,
Every place was different. There was own set of enemies for every world. Some enemies were straight up disgusting and just like terrifying. Just straight up, just like fucking huge and enormous and insane and beautiful. I mean, the
the
amount of
exploring
diversity
is
of that game is incredible, and I think that's what I
yeah,
love so much about it.
the exploring is the strongest part of the game for me. That if I were to rank like the parts of the game, the exploring is a 10 out of 10, simply because
Yeah.
each area, like you said, has the diversity, but also the fact that you could just stumble upon something to help you in your adventure or fuck you up, and you don't know which one you're gonna get. And
Exactly, and I think
I
another
love that
thing,
part.
yeah, and I think another thing, the reason why like the beef of the game, which is the boss fights, are so great, is because each boss fights differently, and each boss has counters to what you do.
Exactly.
And that's what makes this game so awesome as a From Software game, is because you have bosses now that are going to be able to counter what you're trying to do, what you've been able to do in past games. So you have bosses that when you try to get close to them, because they're ranged bosses, they'll fucking counter you and take off half your health bar like that. And that's what I think is so great. Every boss fight felt like a puzzle. And even though I beat most of them in co-op because I just thought that was fun, I mean, I'm more than willing to like go back on a new game plus and solo all those bosses because of just how fun it feels. And like
There's
every
usually a
boss,
strategy to be fun too. It's not.
yeah,
It's not. I'd say out of the
robot,
out to that part. So, huh,
robot voice again.
good, better.
No,
I can't get the damn mic in. There we
that's
go.
better. That's
All
better.
right, all right.
Sorry.
I gotta go in a minute, but let me get this on. Okay, better.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say that I think out of all the bosses I fought, I fought quite a few. I know you fought more than me, but I'd say I fought maybe like 40 or 50. I'd say only maybe like 2 or 3 of them I thought were actually cheap and I had to use cheap tactics. The
Yeah.
majority of them, you just have to kind of
They
find
felt challenging.
yeah. And if you find the flow, you can counteract it. You just got to be careful. So I thought that was good. Similar to Sekiro. Again, Sekiro I thought only had 1 or 2 bosses I absolutely thought were just bullshit. The rest I thought were legitimately challenging that you had to figure out how to beat them.
Yeah, and I mean, you remember like I did the same thing with Sekiro. Like how long it took me to beat Genichiro. I probably like fought that motherfucker for like 5 days.
Yeah, at least. That
Yeah.
dude took me a long time to beat.
But you know what? When I did it, I felt fucking great. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I did this. Like, I accomplished this. This was a great gaming feat. And then whenever I went and fought Ishin, I'm like, and I beat him, I'm like, I feel good. Like, this
Yeah.
feels like a rewarding experience. And I think with Elden Ring, that's what was so great, is because every place I went, I felt like I was being rewarded for its challenges.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love so much about it. And I think that's why I put 90 hours into it. And why I'll probably put like double that on another playthrough.
So you're saying that Skyrim is better, but you liked Elden Ring.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Love Skyrim. Put like 1,000 hours into that. That's why I still play it to this day. Not.
I like Skyrim, but yeah,
I like Skyrim. It's not Elden Ring to me though, and I think that's what's crazy about it is Elden Ring felt so unique to me. So.
All right, so
And I love the soundtrack, but yeah, Elden Ring is my game of the year for 2022. I love Ragnarok, but I can't tell Elden Ring enough for how much I love it. I've become an absolute simp for it.
So the 2 games that we both think are game of the year just flip swapped.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say Elden Ring is your runner-up. Ragnarok's your game of the year, and Elden Ring's my game of the year, and Ragnarok's my runner-up.
There we go. How about you guys? So I don't know at the time I'm going to put out this video. So maybe Midnight Sun does come out, and maybe everybody's blown away. It's a 10 out of 10 game. Chances are that's not happening. Maybe Protocol comes out and it's a sleeper hit, 9.5 out of 5, like Dead Space 2. Could happen. These games could do that. But at the time of this recording, those are pretty much the only 2 games that we didn't really play. Well, there's a couple of games on here we didn't play, but
yeah, I still need to play Tunic and like
Yeah.
Pentiment. I'd like to play the new Plague Tale. Like, there's definitely some stuff I still want to touch before the year's out potentially.
But I'd say these 2 games are definitely worth playing. These are the 2 I would say.
These are the 2 big AAA titles that came out this year, because when you look at the game of the year
and
awards,
Persona 5. If you haven't played, because remember
Yeah.
it was exclusive for a long time. If you're a Switch owner, PC owner, or Xbox owner, I cannot recommend Persona 5. I would put Persona 5 above both these games. If you're asking me to which out of the 3, Persona 5 I think is a must play. I think it's also the game that if you don't like Japanese RPGs, I think you still can enjoy this game a lot.
Persona. I wanted to go through the Game of the Year awards. So these are the nominees this year.
All right, you got 3 minutes. Go.
A Plague Tale Requiem.
Okay.
Still haven't played it, but
That's
again, an indie game that's nominated. That's cool. Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Forbidden West is nominated.
I heard that was really fun. Like people are saying it's legit, like a really fun game. Like it's not amazing, but
Forbidden West.
Yeah, that's the cowboy like shooter bomb, right?
No, Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, there's that cowboy game that came out just recently.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Evil West or something like that. Yeah, it looks interesting. Yeah,
I definitely play that.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. It definitely looks like a 360 like action, like third person game. It definitely gave me those vibes. I want to check it out. Yeah, but I'll definitely check out what's on sale. The last 2 are Stray, which we didn't talk about. I'd like to go back to and check it out, but it's it's kind of like an art piece. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which you played and I did not. Those are the nominees for 2022, which is interesting because
A
like
lot of different genres. I'll give
I
it
only
that.
yeah I only see three AAA titles on here, and two of them I think are really only noteworthy in the sense that Horizon probably is not up there with Ragnarok and Elden
Well,
Ring.
you know, like we talked about in the last few years, indie has definitely taken over gaming in a big way.
It has.
Not really for me, but I love the fact that these smaller companies are getting recognition. I love that. It's just
Absolutely. I think
not for
that's great.
me. That's all.
Yeah.
And I've acknowledged that. You know, like sports games aren't for me. I acknowledge people love them. Racing games aren't mostly for me. I acknowledge people love them. And I think there's you know, as a gamer who me and you have been playing games 30 plus years, these these games are for other people, and that's amazing. I love that there's more diversity in gaming in terms of different style games. uh,
Absolutely. I told Amy this the other day. I think in regards to just the diversity in the industry right now, with how many different games are being made by how many different diverse people, I think the more people that get into gaming, the better. Like I
yeah,
am by far like a gatekeeper in any sense of the word, especially with like an Elden Ring coming out. You know, like people like to do the get good thing, but I think the more people getting into gaming, the better it is for the industry
mhm,
because that means more revenue comes in and that
yep,
means bigger and
more
better
games.
games can be made, which then benefits everyone. So for
Agreed.
me, I think anyone that can get into gaming, like at any point in time, it doesn't matter how old you are, what year it is, you can get into it because I mean, the amount of titles that you have at your disposal today, especially from fucking four generations, seven generations actually, I mean, it's there's never been a better time, and I think like this year, you know, we've had a couple big ones. I think over the next couple years, as developers start to kind of get back into their groove with COVID, kind of fizzling out,
Yeah,
I think that we'll start to see a lot more bigger hits. But
for sure.
yeah.
All
So
right, guys. Well, you have our game of the years. What are your game of the years? Is there one on here that's not that we didn't talk about? I know I talked about Ghostwire a little bit, but it wasn't on this list, and I know a lot of people enjoyed that. The Query, I heard a lot of good things about that. Again, not on the list. So is there a game on this list that we didn't cover that you're like, no, this game is really great. You guys should play it. I'd love to check out more games. There's always games that I miss, and yeah, let us know what game that you guys loved, and we'll be back hopefully before next year.
you're maidenless, tarnished. You're maidenless.
Fucking Jesus, let's stop.